The Sylphic folk have long been friends to Gridania. The mere thought of being at war with them pained the elder seed seer to no end. But owing to your efforts, she will be able to rest easier. Being the benevolent soul that she is, my lady will surely try to find a way to reverse the tempering process. Once again, I thank you. Had the science of the Seventh Dawn not offered to mediate between our peoples, suspicion and doubt may well have led us into needless conflict. Pray pass on my regards to Lady Minfilia. Floopsy? Hello? Hello, Elder? Can you hear me? It is I, Minfilia. Ida and Papalimo returned some little while ago. They wasted no time in regaling me with the tale of your exploits. Thanks in large part to you, the name of one primal may be struck from our list of enemies, and the Gridanians may turn their attention to more pressing matters. Well done. Yet the end of one tale is but the start of another. Pray return to the Waking Sands at your earliest convenience. I would appraise you of the present situation in person. Floopsy. Tataru! Well, if it isn't my favorite adventure. Welcome back, Elder. Lady Minfilia awaits you within the solar. Please enter at your leisure. It's the boy! I am given to understand that the matter of Ramu has finally been resolved. I fear resolved bespeaks a permanence we cannot rightly claim. Yet I am well satisfied that the Lord of Levin will not trouble us in the foreseeable future. Your satisfaction is assurance enough for me. How fares the investigation? Well enough. Thancred is sparing no effort. They are many and one, just as you suspected. Their purpose, however, eludes us still. I see. I have been meaning to ask, but is Alize quite well? I feel as if I have scarcely seen her in recent days. Oh, you haven't, and nor have I, alas. Alize has chosen to walk her own path, stubborn girl. But you may be assured that our destination remains the same. And on that note, I take my leave of you. I trust the Baldesian report will serve you well. I take it we can proceed as discussed. Why do you ask? You scarce need my permission to act. Floopsy? It's good to see you again, Elder. I've been looking forward to congratulating you on your triumph in the Twelveswood. Owing to your efforts, conflict has been averted. Truly you have done the Scions proud. With that, we can strike Ramu from the list. So who's next? The Sahagin and Leviathan? The Lord of the War has not answered his minions' call of late, nor is he expected to do so in the near future. While the Sahagin remain aggressive as ever, they lack the quantity of crystals required to call forth their god. As with the Sylphs, we can leave them to their own devices, for a time at least. For a time bears repeating. We can ill afford to fall complacent. It is as your Stolas says. Unless we know the minds of the beast tribes, we cannot predict with any certainty when next a primal will return to plague the land. This being the case, we must proceed with as much haste as prudence allows. Any word on Titan? The Maelstrom keeps the kobolds under constant observation. We shall hear from them ere long, you may depend on it. Indeed. So then, of all the known primals that have been active in recent times, we are left with Gridania. Wait, I meant Garuda. who is the primal of the Ixal who lived near Gridania. Yes, that's what I meant. So many malms to cover. Would that there were more efficient ways to conduct our surveys. Were he still with us, we should not long have wanted for a more practical solution. She's not wrong there. Sigh. Where in the world are you, Chief? But one sure step at a time. Henceforth, the Order of the Twin Adder will handle all matters pertaining to the Sylphs, under the sage guidance of the Seed Seers. I bid you all enjoy a moment's respite. You have earned it. Mm-hmm. Is there something else, Elder? Floopsy. Floopsy's our creepy man. Beg pardon? A man named La Habrea sporting a red mask and robed in black? 12 preserve. Prior to the calamity, the Asians took great pains to remain hidden. Why would they choose to cast off their veil of secrecy now? Gods, this bodes ill. We must take advantage of the present lull in primal hostilities to investigate this La Habrea. Learn all we can of him and his designs. I dread to Eek! Tataru! A sylph in Thanalan? At long last, this one finds walking one, Elder. This one is most dependable of these ones. Is sent by Elder One Frixio to help walking ones. This one is called Noraxia. This one comes as a friend. Let these ones be friends. Pleasure to meet you, Noraxia. Yes, Tataru is as ready to express her fright as she is to express everything else. Not all of us are forged of the same steel as you, I'm afraid. But it takes all kinds to make a family, and it pleases me to no end to see ours continue to grow. One by one, the people of Eorzea are beginning to unite. Elder, drawn to the hope that shines within you. Yet a darkness threatens to engulf this light. Never have I doubted the Asians' presence, but that they grow so brazen as to carry out the work in plain sight fills me with a sense of deep foreboding. I'm afraid there's no rest for the weary, Elder. We must delve further into the motivations of the masked man, the Asian known as La Habrea. This is an ideal moment to do so, while our hands are not bound dealing with another primal. At present, we know little and less about the Asians, only that destruction follows in their wake. I should not be surprised if these beings are behind the chaos that racks the realm. If my fears prove to be reality, we must do all in our power to stop them. Earlier I sent word to each Grand Company to solicit cooperation. The Immortal Flames responded to the effect that they have information on a potential sighting. This is intelligence that we can ill afford to ignore. Go speak with Flame Commander Swift at the Hall of Flames at Ul'dah to inquire further. How you go about the investigation thereafter I leave wholly to your discretion. But whatever you do, never forget that we are dealing with the unknown. You cannot take too many precautions to be safe, Elder. Floopsy! You! The masked man? Ah, you are come on behalf of the Scions, of course. Yes, we've already relayed to Lady Menphilia there have been sightings of this rogue near about eastern Thanalan. A brass blade stationed at High Bridge described him in detail when he alerted us to suspicious activity. I would point you to the witness, but I'm afraid he died not 2 days ago, slain by a marauding horde of Kikirin. Fate can be a cruel mistress. But do not be too quick to despair. Being situated on a trade route, Highbridge seems its fair share of travelers. Folk are always coming and going, and some among them may well have caught a glimpse of your target. You could do worse than to speak with a merchant named Hihibaru. The fellow's always starved for customers, and he'd no doubt welcome your attention, whether or not you have coin or the mind to spend it. Chinlins! Floopsy has reached the 35th level to do the next thing for the quest of the Paladin, please. You have earned the right to call yourself a Paladin, but how do others treat you? Do they recognize you for what you are? Remember that fancy sword play and well-polished armor do not make you a Paladin. You must be just in your heart, and strive always to be an exemplar of true virtue. Once, not so long ago, the Sultan Sworn could walk the streets with their heads held high. When they marched by, the small folk would look upon them with reverence and gratitude, and no one was more respected than the captain, my predecessor. When I first saw him, I was still a child. My father had promised to take me to a local festival, but somewhere he took a wrong turn. We became lost and stumbled into a secluded back alley. Luck was not with us because the next moment we found ourselves in the middle of a riot. Drunken hunters were firing arrows into the crowd, and we were caught between them. There was no way out. It was only a matter of time before we would be struck. That's when the captain saved us from our plight. I'd never seen a sword move so swiftly. It flashed faster than my eyes could follow, and in seconds the hunters were on the ground, or fleeing for their lives. The captain was gone down the street, slicing at their heels, before my father had time to thank him. Even today, I can see the captain as he was then, blood on his sword, armor impossibly bright in the sun. After all that, I wanted to be a paladin. All I ever wanted was to be a paladin. I would practice endlessly with my sword, dreaming of bandits defeated and monsters slain. Even after I became one of the Sultan Sworn, the memory of the captain still inspired me. I was always the first to arrive in the training yard and the last to leave. And so the years passed, and before I knew it, I found myself named captain of the Sultan Sworn. Yet the triumph was hollow, because then the honor of the Sultan Sworn elite, that very thing that had drawn me to the Brotherhood, was a mere vestige, like the discarded banner of a defeated foe. There were many reasons for the fall, but the loss of Oathkeeper, yes, that was the mortal blow. The sword, Oathkeeper, was bestowed upon the first captain of the Sultan Swarm by the Sultan of Ul'dah. In time it became our standard, the symbol of the oaths we had sworn, and it was treasured by each new captain for generations. Possession was proof of Sultan Sworn command. But then the unthinkable came to pass. Oathkeeper was stolen by the traitor. It shook our brotherhood to the core. How can we be trusted to protect the Sultana if we cannot even hold on to the symbol of our fealty? We have been tarnished in the eyes of ruler and ruled alike. If the Sultan Sworn are to survive, we must find the traitor and recover Oathkeeper. But the Sultan Sworn have grown too weak, and we cannot do it ourselves. We've been forced to recruit outsiders to help us in our cause. I have high hopes for you, my friend. It is a great thing that we ask, and you must learn more of our secrets if you are to succeed. In Outer Loneska, near the Hermit's Hovel, is a grove where ringtails congregate. Pitting yourself against a host of the beasts would be a fine way to own your skills that I will teach you. In the grove you will find another brazier, this time filled with a potent incense that will drive the creatures into a frenzy. Defeat your attackers and return to me. Floopsy, light the brazier. Touch, touch, touch. Oh. We did it. Gentlemen, we killed the lemurs. Well done! You have taken the skills I taught you and made them your own. I still do not have word of where the traitor is hiding, but I will inform you the moment I do. Until then, continue your trading. Hee Baru. Welcome to Highbridge, adventurer. Whatever you seek, I, Hee Baru, can provide it. Probably. You're after a masked man. I'm not sure I have one of those in stock. Oh, you're after a masked man. Why didn't you say so sooner? Such an individual might have featured in one of the many rumors I've heard. If you linger a while, mayhap you'll learn a thing or two, eh? Tell us what you know, Hee Baru. When the Order of Naldal began excavating the ruins below, I had hopes that Highbridge would turn into a bustling hub for pilgrims. But thanks to the nigh-endless beastmen raids, folk are too afraid to come within a malm of here. I sold everything I owned to get my venture started, and I'm loath to give up without making an earnest effort to stick it out. But if things keep going as they are, I'll be bankrupt before the moon is through. Whining won't do me any good, though. No, for my business to survive, I need business. Speaking of which, perhaps you'd like to browse my wares? Spend a bit of coin to help a struggling merchant? The masked man? Bah, I'll take your bloody masked man. I know what I said before, but vague rumors are all I've got. If you want to know about him, go and ask the other merchants. Multiloquent merchant? I've heard tell of the masked devil. Seems he's been appearing not only around Highbridge, but elsewhere about Thanalan too. Enough folks have reported seeing him to convince me he's more than a figment of the imagination, but little is known about him otherwise. Absent-minded merchant, don't fall. On the trail of a masked man. I've heard of him, but only in hushed tones and faint whispers. It's said he wears a black hooded robe and looks right suspicious. And that's about all I can say, little though it is. Impassive merchant? Have I seen a masked man wearing a dark robe? No, I haven't, nor do I wish to. Business is bad enough without shady characters lurking about. Folk have been giving Highbridge a wide berth because of all the Kikirin raids. None but the most devout of pilgrims are willing to come here anymore. Kikirins? Rodent folk? Hee Baru! Judging by your expression, I take it you didn't learn much of use. Look, I'm sorry for my rudeness earlier. It's just that things are tough for us merchants at the moment. The Kikirin raids are so constant, so organized, we're beginning to suspect that someone is orchestrating it all. I tend to put my own welfare first, like most of us do, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I promise to keep an eye out for your masked man. If I see or hear anything, you'll be the first to know. I finally got some honest-to-God's information on your masked man. Why so confident? Because I saw him with my own two eyes. I was out for an evening stroll, minding my own business, when I noticed a column of smoke rising from a cliff over at Thal's Respite. Curious, I took myself there to find a masked man, your masked man, I'm sure of it, standing by a fire. As if in answer, some Kikirin appeared soon after, and the group began talking at length. I'm afraid I was too far out of earshot to hear much of anything. After the group had dispersed, an idea came to me. If you were to use this smoldering coal to start a fire, you might be able to arrange a similar meeting. It will be dangerous, I shouldn't doubt, but you've proven yourself more than a match for a pack of rats. So what do you think? That's some sound, reliable information, even if I do say so myself. Well, worth all the lingering about you've been doing, wouldn't you say? Hostile presence? Oh! That's not the kind of masked person man we're looking for. Back so soon. Were you able to find any clues leading to your masked man? Was the wrong masked man? Gasp! This scroll! It bears a prayer to Ralger the Destroyer. In case you're unfamiliar, Ralger is the guardian deity of Alamigo, which is currently under Garlean rule. It's highly uncommon for folk of other nations to revere him. I'd wager my last skill that your assailant was Alamigan. It seems this masked man of yours is very well connected. I must confess, the merchant in me envies such a diverse network of contacts. That self-same merchant also senses danger ahead, and darkness besides. Are you certain you'd rather not take things nice and slow here at Highbridge? The Alamigan bandit you had a run-in with is somehow connected to your masked man of mystery. So it stands to reason that if you want to pick up the trail again, you should head toward Little Alamigo over in southern Thanalan. Just so you know what to expect, the settlement is the favorite destination for those refugees who couldn't, well, adapt to life in Ul'dah. The hearts of the denizens are said to be as barren as the wasteland they live in, and for all intents and purposes, it's a lawless place. Be prepared for a not-so-warm welcome. Now, I'm not certain how much a help she will be, but it just so happens I have a daughter who has, relocated to Little Alamigo. Her name is Hihira, and it shouldn't hurt to seek her out first. And while you have her attention, I'd be obliged if you could send my love. Not a day goes by that I don't think of her. I suppose this is it, then. I'd hope that you would linger here a while, cull some fiends, spend some coin, what have you. But something tells me you're destined for greater things. Wherever it is you end up, I wish you the best. Hihira! Your daddy says he loves you. Why, yes, he Hebrew's my father. He said, what? Sigh, I wish I could be a better daughter to him. It's just that... Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't bother you with family matters. But I am grateful for you delivering the message. Now then, what brings you here? A masked man. I'm afraid the description doesn't ring any bells, but one of the others here may have seen something. I recommend you first speak with Gundobald. He's the leader of the settlement. I must warn you, though, he isn't exactly accommodating to outsiders. Surely a man of great mustache will be able to commune with another. Mutual mustaches. Who are you? State your business and be quick about it. Floopsy, Floopsy, Floopsy. Looking for a masked villain, you say? And why should we help you, pray? We struggle enough with having to answer to the whim of without having to answer to the whim of every outsider. You're not welcome here. Begone. Floopsy. We just got... This journey ends here. Goodbye. You. Well met, adventurer. I'm Gisilbert, head of security here at Little Alamigo. I heard tell that you had business with Gundobald. Knowing the bristly old bear, I don't doubt he told you to bugger off. Owing to their hardships, the refugees don't trust anyone but themselves. Not even my men and I can get so much as a word of thanks out of them, despite watching the place day and night. But thanks or no, I try to help my fellow man when I can, and you seem a decent sort. If you tell me what's brought you here, I might be as I can lend a hand. On the trail of a masked villain, you say? Can't say that sounds familiar, but I have men on lookout for a Malja to the south of here. If there's been any suspicious activity, they're likely to have seen it. I had a mind to take them each a cup of sweet Thanalan tea so as to lift their spirits. If you were to run this little errand in my stead, they'd be all the more willing to tell you what they know. Floopsy tea livery service? Who the hell are you? I'm trying to conserve energy here, so leave me alone. Tea? Well, ain't ye considerate? My thanks, friend. A set? A masked villain hiding among the refugees. Masked villain hiding among the refugees, like as not. Me compatriots as live here go about as though they're dead on their feet. It is impossible to tell what's on their minds. For all I know, they're all up to no good. Angry River? You there! Are you a Malja? No? Then carry on! But tea? Ah, this sophisticated aroma! It's been forever since I had a drop of sweet Thanalan. I'm going to enjoy this. But a masked man, don't know, don't care, unless he's got dark scaly skin, stands 10 fulms tall, and has the face of a lizard, then I don't give a mummer's fart. Ya, Zuku? Shoo! Don't bother me. If the Malja overrun us, I'm blaming you. Tea? For me? You shouldn't have. Sorry, suspicious man. As a matter of fact, I caught a glimpse of someone fitting that description during patrol. Well, I couldn't quite make out whether or not it was a man or not, what with the mask and the robe, but assuming it was a he was talking with some of the Alamegans. I assumed he was one of them. Gilbert? You're back. So did my lookouts have aught to share with you? That doesn't sound like much to go by. If you're to get any further with your investigation, seems to me you'll need the cooperation of the Alamegans. For this, you'll need to win their trust, and that won't be an easy task. So you're determined to press on with your investigation, then I have some advice to offer. As I said before, you won't get far without the Alamegans' trust, and the best way to win that trust is to get a compatriot of theirs, someone they respect, to vouch for you. Coin does the talking in Ul'dah, but the Alamegans are bound by something far stronger, if not as tangible, a common purpose. That purpose is, of course, the liberation of their home from the Garleans. Gundabad belongs to the Alamegan resistance, so your best bet would be someone who's part of the same crew. If you know any well-connected people, you might want to start by asking them. Min, Philia? Welcome back, Elder. How fares the investigation? I see. Given all that they have suffered, it is of little wonder the Alamegan refugees have lost their faith in their fellow man. They have had their homeland taken from them, and for the past 2 decades have had to see it remain in the enemy's clutches. To compound matters, none of the 3 city-states have the means to take in all of those who were displaced. As a result, a great many Alamegans now live on the margins of society, suffering poverty and discrimination. Sigh, would that more could be done to ease their hardships. I fear that nothing short of reclaiming their homeland would be a lasting solution. But let us deal with one problem at a time. Returning to the matter of your investigation, it just so happens there is an Alamegan native among the Scions. I should be pleased to introduce you to him. Your Alamegan comrade, he is named Haribert. He joined our cause in the hopes that he might find a way to liberate his homeland. While he spares no effort towards that endeavor, I have no doubt that he would be glad to assist you. If I recall correctly, Haribert is currently between missions. Try looking for him in the storage area.
Holy shit, it's Johnny Bravo!
Check the packs.